You mentioned earlier that Ambika, you usually collab with you know folks, particularly for a topic where you're not that familiar with, right? Now, one of the posts that you created, especially on data privacy and then the app tracking, that we found it to be really interesting. And for our viewers, we will mention that link in the description. Why did you choose that topic? And then, for an average user, what are some of the measures that they should take?
Right. So I have been interested in the privacy space, just the data privacy piece. I've tried to deep dive into it. And I have a friend who I've collaborated on the AI stuff as well. His name's Chinmay. He actually sent this article by this, I think he's an engineer called Prashant. His Substack is called PB. And he'd done a deep dive on how, at least on Android apps, a lot of these apps are silently querying other apps in the background. They're able to actually detect if this app is installed, and by detecting like multiple apps actually create a customer profile. So I was shocked. I had no idea this was happening. uh, and we were actually discussing this. I'd met this friend for lunch, and we were actually discussing. I was like, listen, we have to write about this. I'm supposed to be in this tech space. How do I have no idea about this? And if I don't, then I know for sure that nobody does. So it started out as like, hey, let's do this investigative thing and actually deep dive and figure out what to do. And I just started writing, understanding more. And at some point we were like, hey, let's analyze this for ourselves. So this Prashant, who had actually written this, had done a deep dive, but for Android apps. What he had not made very clear in his piece is how can an ordinary person like me or you actually check out for themselves, right? At the end of the day, you believe it when you see it with your own eyes. So that's where I actually, sat down, try to download the IPA or APK files from like my phone or my friend's phone, actually see if there's a way I can, go through the different files and see what permissions they're asking for, what apps are they detecting. And that's when Chinmay was like, hey, this is very complicated. Let me just build a tool for this. So one weekend we sat down. I was doing all this on my own, like in a more hacky way. He built this tool. We sort of just put it out, and I was surprised at the traction. I think the Ken probably read the PB article and my piece as well, and took it and sort of ran with it. And it got a lot of attention, which was great. And it was actually surprising to know how many people didn't know this was happening. Right, for me, the biggest learning from that at least was, and the shock at least, right, that this is actually not covered even in the DPDPA Act. All of this stuff is not mentioned, which at this point I'm like, you take my phone number, take my creds, where my all the fintech apps I'm on have probably taken it, sold it, done something with it. I don't care, right? I get 20 calls in a day from some loan app trying to sell me something. I'm like, it's fine. I'll just won't answer it. But this secondary level stuff, right? Where you're actually creating a profile and you're using it for I don't know what, you know, selling me stuff, or you're selling this profile to somebody else. In a way, you can actually influence policy making as well, right? That was that Cambridge Analytica thing. They
Yeah.
did that. They were able to actually influence the US election. So that stuff is very scary. You know, it's terrifying actually that apps are able to do that. And while some apps are probably better than others, a lot of apps don't really self-regulate. They're just doing this and we're letting them do it. Nobody's complaining because nobody knows about it. That was basically the point of the piece. That's why we wrote it. We said, hey, let's see if we can at least spread some awareness around it. um I think what a great outcome of it was, a lot of people actually reached out to me and said, hey, we followed the steps in your article and we've actually uninstalled a lot of these apps, or they've actually gone and extracted the file themselves, uploaded in the tool, and seen all the permissions and all the apps that these apps were silently querying. So that was a great outcome. I think in terms of being more careful, it's, one, make sure your apps are not, they don't have any permissions that they're taking either for your location or whatever else. A lot of this that is automatically switched on, so make sure you switch that off. The second is that there are a lot of people, you may be playing some game, or you may be wanting some sort of Photoshop tool where you want to make a meme. Be very careful about what you're downloading. You've got a lot of these scam apps that you download. some may even think, I've seen a lot of apps on the App Store. I'm like, who has built this and put this on this App Store? I don't know what somebody's getting out of it. But if you download these apps and they're getting a lot of this information, that is basically their business model, right? So yeah, I mean, I just say don't give your apps any permission beyond, the very basic stuff. Make sure when you're downloading something, you know what that app is doing, and you can do it either through steps followed, or you can you know, just talk to an AI tool and figure it out yourself. Delete it immediately if you're not using it. Yeah,
Uh,
that's basically what I'd say.
So, what are some of the apps that we use on a daily basis, right? That track rigorously, that take into account all the data points.
I think Zomato, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think Zomato, Blinkit, Zepto, a lot of these apps are querying like more than 50 apps in the background, right? Apple is a little more secure. And that was actually another problem for me. Apple is considered to be a premium phone. The Android phones are, at least, while they have a premium versions as well, Android at least has more models in the affordable range. And that was another point for me, right? I was like, is premium is now this is privacy a premium feature now? Like, is it only Apple folks who should be more secure? That should not be the case. There should be some way of checking it, right? This implicitly is covered under Europe's data laws. I think the problem is nobody knows this is happening. So if you don't complain, then nobody really, nips it in the bud.
Right.
So yeah, you've got your food delivery apps. A lot of loan apps do this. I think I'm not sure. Credit Bee is one app that I think that's querying a lot of your innocuous apps in the background. Swiggy, I think, was very surprising to me. They're querying apps like First Cry, which is an app for, I think, baby clothes and things like that. So, it's seems like it doesn't matter, but it could actually be a very big indicator of if you have a kid or if you have an infant or not, right? And that can actually be fed into things like, what rate should I charge this person? Should I give them a loan? Should I give them this insurance? What should I, automating all those profiles. So yeah, that was, I mean, and that's a very small, I sampled only like 4 or 5 apps. I'd say actually there's the deep dive that PB has done. I've put it on a link in the article that I'd written. He's actually done this for, I think, more than 100 apps, but this is more than the Android side, where he's looked at, there's something called a manifest file in Android, where you have to declare all the apps that you're querying, and there's no limit to it. So what a lot of these apps, like let's say Zomato has done, is just quietly said, hey, we're querying all of these 1,000 apps. Nobody's really raised a complaint or, you know, really highlighted it to some sort of authority. So if you download these apps and you actually get access to that file, which he has done and he's published it publicly, you can actually see all the apps they're querying. And yeah, very, very shocking.